Good evening and welcome to the first of the Season 12 Ginetta GT5 Juniors, sponsored by Emily Lynn Scott Notebook. We are going to discuss Brands Hatch GP tonight, what happened, the results of it, and the general remarks. Obviously, change to the opening. It is Brands Hatch GP, so really favourite circuit for most of the competitors on the Friday night. And we start off with the sprint race, 5 laps around this circuit, obviously 10-minute qualifying. The qualifying, the Les managed to get the first pole position of the season with a 1 minute 35.157. A really good time there to hold off Boyrak. So Adam Morris and AMH Racing, Jamie F430 completing the top 5 for the grid. So we got underway. Jamie got a really good start from 5th up into 3rd. As we went round lap 1, Caesar came to Surtees, started to go through Surtees quite nicely until just clipping the curb made the back end come out a bit more than he would have liked, and unfortunately lost control, spun back into the pack, in which Shockshaft then collected him head on. Very unlucky. Nothing any of them could do about it, not really. Yorkshire Stig just about got away with it. He scooted across the grass around the outside, but from his seat it was going backwards. And that eventually made Mad Marshall go into the wall. So not particularly messy start, I wouldn't have said, but definitely one very unlucky halfway around the first lap, in my opinion, very unlucky. Also on lap 1, Jamie made a mistake somewhere. He ended up dropping down to position 12 on the circuit. What happened we don't know, but just general mistakes from him. Till was 11. Had a spin at Sheen Curve. Ended up going down to P14. He obviously returning to the Ginetta Juniors for season 12. So really good to see him back. It was quite evident of the rust he had qualifying in 11th. Was he missing a season, missing updates in reality? That changes the cars ever so slightly. So he's just getting back used to it, getting the setup correct, and hopefully going forward he'll get some good results. On to lap 2 then. Fraser ended up passing Jim through Paddock Hill, in which later on in the pack Mad Marshall then spun. Really tight racing, the top 5 really all together for this sprint race. Really good racing. Then going on to lap number 3, AMH and Adam Morris. What a battle. You couldn't have asked for a better battle. They went side by side from Paddock Hill Bend all the way to Surtees, and AMH got position 3. He got into 3rd, and unbelievable driving coming through Paddock Hill side by side, up to Druid side by side, through Graham Hill and up to Surtees. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. A lot of corners where it could go horribly wrong. However, it didn't. And yeah, brilliant race on that particular lap. It was fantastic. And also at Surtees, just ahead of them, Boyrak got past the Les. The Les having a really good end of season to season 11, showing a lot of promise, in my opinion anyway, and he continued that into Brands Hatch this season. He's continued it into season 12, which is brilliant to see. Really good. So he got overtaken by Boyrax on lap 3, and then after that it was completely, it was really tight. The top 4 at least, really tight. Then on lap 4 into Druids, and the Les actually ended up getting back his lead from Boyrax. He came through Paddock, really good speed out, got alongside up the inside of Druids, and nothing Boyrax could do around there. Ended up losing the place. By this point, Jamie was up to P8 in his trying to get back up in the field, trying to recover for a good position finish. He was back up into 8th. He was originally in 12th, so he made up a good 4 positions there for a good lap. Later on in lap 4, though, it went wrong for the Les. He going through Hawthorne area, just clipped the grass by the seams of it, lost the back end, and unfortunately him and AMH crashed. Very unfortunate, quite naturally, because it was all sorted out after the race between the drivers. Really, really good, really mature, you could call it, between the two. AMH just accepting there was nothing nothing he could really do. I mean, nowhere for him to go. Les tried all he could, so really good to see that. But that put AMH down to P7 and the Les into P8. Jamie then spun on lap number 4, not helping his cause for maintaining a position of some sort. But he ended up finishing quite well, actually. On to the last lap, it was all really, really tight. Unfortunately, no one could pull off the move to either win the race or gain a position, really. Really close about, or near the middle of the pack. But yeah, no one really made up a position, and unfortunately, almost like a follow the leader lap, but it was really, really tight. I mean, Fraser and Morris, unbelievably tight coming into the final corner at Clearways. Fraser literally just about ahead of him going in, and they were practically pushing each other down the road. Really, really good to watch. So, fantastic stuff, in my opinion. The Les unfortunately had more issues on lap 5. He was the only one to really move anywhere. He dropped down to 12th in the end. So a bit of a shame, but it's points nonetheless when you finish. So rather good there to gain some points initially. So at the end of the race, the defending champion of Boyrax of 14. Now remember, he is also double back-to-back Race of Winners champion. It is sensational what he's managed to do so far. And quite frankly, he's a really big threat to everyone to defending his own title. He rocks up, nice setup, gets the car. I mean, he qualified second for the sprint race there. In the lead, and no one can catch him, really. Once he was there, once the Les had made a mistake, he wasn't going to get caught at all. But Boyrax are 1, followed by Fraser and Adam Morris in 3rd. RS Jim 4th, Radovan was 5th, Slidergas 6th, AMH Racing was 7th in the end after the unfortunate happenings with the Les. Jamie came home at 8th, Afcape came 9th, a good result for him in his new livery. Calling it the lucky livery, really, for him, after using it at Monza last season and getting a good result. Shockshaft ended up in 10th, with Yorkshire Stig in 11th. The Les ended up 12th, Shadowstalker 13th, Tilbs came home 14th, with Caesar 15th. Mad Marshall retired after lap 2. So obviously, with the Ginettas, we have interviews after each of the race, and a few things to pick up on Boyrax. Was helped by the incident on lap 4 to taking the win, he says. He'll take the points though, however they come. If they come by way of someone crashing out, he'll take them quite happily in essence. I mean, who wouldn't? also saying that he'll have no idea what will happen in race 2, because obviously the top 5 don't qualify, so at the back of the grid for him. Saying anything can happen, and he have to use the pit strategy to see if he can either undercut people or force people into a pit stop they don't want to. But otherwise, a really, really good effort from Blackmax. Also had Tilbs in the interview, saying a bad race one really, but he's just getting the rust off. Car had a different feeling to the last time he drove it. Apparently the steering felt a bit more responsive to him, and basically not enough practice. But overall, I think he'll be happy with that first race, the fact that he finished and didn't really have any major issues. Going on from that then, race 2, 22 laps. And we had a special co-commentator with me for this one. We had Seeks44 join us in the commentary box. And it was really nice because obviously Seeks isn't going to be racing for quite a while. I think it's only like 2 months. He won't be racing because he's off to Ecuador. So he came into the commentary box. He was obviously running off of the stream, which runs about 10 seconds behind the live thing. So he's running off of that, and yeah, really, really good fun, in my opinion. It's nice to have a special guest commentator every once in a while. And yeah, really, really good to work with him. But onto the racing. Qualifying. The Les set another pole position time of a 1:35.334. Remember, Adam Morris, Boy Raxer, RS Jim, Ray Devan and Fraser weren't allowed to qualify because they were the top 5 guys. They were just the top 5 guys, really. It was really, really good racing in the first race, obviously, because they started at the back. Yeah, really, really good. But I think the biggest thing for the Les here is he just needs to keep on going. You know, really try and rein it in. Qualify on pole and try and stay there a bit longer, maybe. Because I think he kind of almost made a slight mistake from being under the pressure of leading that race in the first race. So be good to see him if he could hold it a bit nicer. But AMH qualified second, followed by Jamie, Caesar, Slidergas, Tilbs in 6th. Good qualifying for him. Shockshaft, Yorkshire Stig, Shadowstalker, Mad Marshall. Now, unfortunately, our good friend Afcape got disconnected during the qualifying and couldn't rejoin. So meant his race 2 was ruined. Couldn't race, couldn't qualify. Moving on to the race though, and it was a good start from Les. Really good start. RS Jim unfortunately didn't ready up in time, so he didn't start the race. Very unfortunate for him because he is very quick and would have been on for a good result, I think. Yorkshire Stig ended up going down to P13 after lap 1. Go through lap 2 and nothing really happened. Then on to lap number 3. The Les went very slow down the main straight, going on to lap 3. Me and Zeke seemed to thought that he maybe had a mistake going through clearways and Clark Curve, but don't really know. But he kept that slowness all the way up to Paddock Hill, so very weird. But he then spun at Druids, which put him down to position 12. So it's very unfortunate. Again, caught the curb, and the backhand went round. Jamie ended up passing AMH into position 1 on lap number 3, so a good Good overtake there actually from Jamie, especially on AMH. Two very quick guys raced alongside each other a while, and Jamie making good use of the overtaking spots at Brands. AMH then spun at Paddock Hill a lap later, which put him down the order, with Caesar spinning down to P10 as well. Adam Morris and Boy Raxa got up to P2 and 3 respectively on that lap, thanks to AMH's spin. So, and Caesar's spin. So the Sneckachuka boys really doing a good job as a team unit in this championship, because obviously there is a team's championship at stake. Jamie was just constantly hemorrhaging time. He was losing time left, right and centre. On lap 5, Boy Raxa got past Adam Morris and then was starting to really hunt down Jamie. He was taking time out of him like you wouldn't believe. And then by lap 8, Boy Raxa was on the back of him and up into Druids, overtook him for the lead. It's a bit of a shame that for Jamie leading the race that long, he had a good gap of about 4 or 5 seconds as well. He just couldn't keep it there. Jamie and then Adam Morris were battling on lap number 9, and they went side by side from Paddock Hill all the way to Surtees, exactly the same manner as AMH did. AMH and Adam Morris in race 1. Jamie ended up keeping the place though, and it was phenomenal to watch. It was some of the best racing I've seen. I mean, it's nearly half a lap of Brands side by side, and it's nip and tuck. One mistake, if the back end gets loose or if you get a bit more understeer, it's curtains for the pair of you. But it's yeah, really good and clean racing from the pair of them. Going on and up to Hawthorns as well. Adam Morris tried around the outside of Jamie at Hawthorns, couldn't quite do it, and AMH pounced on the opportunity and got past Adam, going down through Dingledale and up towards Sheen Curve. So AMH were in the perfect position, and then on the next lap, on lap 10, he then passed Jamie for position 2 at Druid's Hairpin. Again, a really good move, set up through Paddock Hill and up the inside of Druid's. You can't do anything about it. Then we move on to lap 11. Jamie passed Adam during the pits. Now, Adam went in the pits, the first of the leading pack to blink and go in the pits. Jamie then went in a lap later, and he ended up coming out in front of Adam, which is quite good, really. Make a place up in the pit stops, whether it be a good in lap, good out lap, whether I think Adam may have made a mistake on that, so a bit unfortunate. Then on to lap number 12, and the pit stops get even weirder. So the order of going into the pits on lap number 12 was Boy Raxa, AMH Racing, and then Tilbs. Now, it was interesting to note that Tilbs ended up coming out 3 seconds ahead of Boy Raxa and AMH. So with Tilbs coming out 3 seconds faster, I mean, I do wonder whether he has gone to an F1 team over the summer break and just gone, do you want to come out and be my pit crew for a weekend at Brands Hatch? I mean, you're the fastest guys that change tyres, so give me an advantage in the Ginetta Juniors, in the GT5 cars. And yeah, phenomenal pit stop from his team. So he ended up coming out in net first position. Shockshaft at this point had already gone through into the lead, and yeah, really good time for him. He was leading the race for On The Grass Racing. Unfortunately, his teammate disconnected in the qualifying, so any points would be good points. Onto lap 13, and Shadow Stalker ended up passing Radovan near for the 7th position on track. And then a lap later, on lap 14, Boy Raxa got past Tilbs for that net first position. Shockshaft at this point was still going around on his first set of tyres. Now, obviously the tyre wear isn't a lot on this car at all. You could probably go for a long time with this car without tyre, but obviously having to make a pit stop, that is mandatory. On lap number 16, AMH made a mistake somewhere, and Adam Morris went up to position 4, which became a net position 3 behind Tilbs. And yeah, it was starting to get interesting. Really, really interesting. Lap 17, Shockshaft then came in for his pit stop from the lead. Unbelievable. 17 laps, a 22 lap race. He decided to go on that set of tyres. And it kind of paid out for him as well. He ended up coming back out in 6th place. Really, really good strategical call. Just running in clear air, no one to worry about. Just bang the consistent laps in and really home in on that on the final position. On to lap number 20 then, we go 3 laps later. Not obviously with the pit stops having a bit more spread out, not a lot of overtaking happening, but Adam Morris and AMH Racing overtook Tilbs on lap 20, so they were running position 2, 3 and 4 respectively. And Radovan got past Shallow at Hawthorns for position 7, a really, really good move actually, around the outside at Hawthorns. So that was a good one to watch. Going then on to the final lap of the race, lap number 22. And Fraser ends up passing Yorkshire Stig for position 9. Not the race Fraser would have wanted, to be fair, ending up in position 9. And unfortunately, through clearways and Clark Curve, Tilbs went off into the gravel, spun the car, and Jamie F430 ended up stealing 4th position away from him right on the line. But a top 5 for Tills, I'd think he'd be very happy with that. It had a bit of a technical issue with the interviews. Some of you may have heard or not heard. AFCAPE and Shockshaft, I don't think had quite the right settings on. But it was interesting on being seats to hear what they were saying about their race. But Boy Rex obviously could hear, and he wasn't expecting that win from the back. He wasn't expecting that at all. Everyone gave lots of room, so that's really good to hear for the racecraft of the NXTGEN boys. Lots of room given, and he found it really enjoyable coming from the back, having to work his way through the pack. Now obviously, C's posed a question because Boy Rex has done a few championships where there's been reverse grids, and he's saying there's a lot more racing in this one, because of the slipstreaming. You've got the slipstreaming, the racing is really tight, and because of these cars, you dive up the inside of people. I think it's really, really good how you can do that in this championship, even with the reverse grids. Really, really good racing, and to go from the back to the front, he said it's a really, really good feeling, no matter who you are, because the grid is very, very tight. Anyone in that top 8 could win the race, all down to how you play your cards in the game. Obviously, the Ginetta GT5 Juniors this season, again sponsored by Emily Linscott. Really good to have her on board, and there is prizes. The winner of the championship will get a signed Emily Linscott cap with some stickers, and second and third, their efforts won't go unrewarded. They will both get some stickers as well, for being in the top 3. And obviously the top 2, or unless they're already in the race of winners, the top 2 of the championship, if not it goes down the order, will go into the race of winners at the end of season 12. Now, we have the back-to-back race of winners champion in this championship, Boy Raxa 14. Watch out, because I'm almost certain he's going to be there again, and the race of winners is a big thing to win. Really big thing to win. If you can win the race of winners, my god, is it a really good feeling. I've never had it. I have raced in the race of winners, and the GT Sport didn't go too well. But it's a really good feeling just to get there. It's a really, really good thing to be in. But as far as the notebook is concerned, that is it for the round 1 edition from the Ginetta GT5 Juniors on that respect. Now, at the end of each round, I get a questionnaire, survey, interview type thing that I get drivers to answer, and a medley of questions go into the notebook. And I'm glad to say 9 people out of those 16 who raced have answered this, and it's really good to see. Start with our friend Afcape. He thought the first race was okay, got a good result in 9th place there. Unfortunately, he's still a bit mad the fact that he got disconnected from race 2. Jamie finished 10th ahead of him in race 1, and he says that was an incident or problem he had that affected him, and obviously his internet. He rated the racing at a 6, so not bad, not great. He doesn't like Donington GP, and he expects P5 to position 10. So in that area is his expectations for Donington. The defending champion, Boy ranks of 14. That was his round 1. He said it was the perfect start to his championship. Coming out with a double win was totally unexpected. And he said from his perspective, the racing was very clean and professional, so it's really good feedback for the Ginettas. He rated it at 9, so really good. He enjoys Donington, even because his home track, and being wet, will add an element to the uncertainty, which will hopefully provide unexpected results and great racing, which is definitely what we hope. The goal for him, the expectation, he wants to win, but podiums he will also be quite happy with. The host, Jamie FL30, felt round 1 could have gone better, but it could have been worse. He did have an incident in lap 1, the first right-hander into the GP loop, which is Hawthorne's. He was so close to Adam that he actually tapped his front end, which sent him to a half spin, and that is the reason why he dropped down. He's dropped into position 11, he thinks. It was quite tough thereafter to make up the positions in race 1. He rated it a 4, which is interesting. Obviously, maybe that was his own performance. He enjoys Donington. He took a win in the last season on the national track, so he'll be hoping for at least a win again. That's his expectation for round 3. Yorkshire Stig, newcomer to the championship, done quite well, to be honest. He thought it went better than expected. He's still waiting for some settings, but I think he's got them now. And there's no incidents, just random cars popping in and out. Thinks maybe some connection issues, potentially. Rated at a 7, so thought it was quite a good overall race. He enjoys Donington, but he's not quite sure about this weather yet, because it is a wet race at Donington. His expectations for round 2, he doesn't have any expectations. He expects nothing, and he'll be happy to cross the finish line, so being a new guy in the league. So really interesting thought pattern there, but obviously happy just to race, which is a really good mentality, really. AMH Racing, he felt round 1 didn't go great. He was robbed of victory in the first race, and then his own mistakes cost him at least position 2 in race 2. Actually, in race 1, the issue obviously being the Les who lost it and accidentally wiped him out, but again, nothing either of them could do. Just very unfortunate, wrong place, wrong time, which is good that both drivers really accept that. Rated at a 7, so again, a good rating for the Ginettas. Round 2 at Donington, loves the track when there's no stupid slowdown penalties. So, you can drive the track without getting fear of penalty for using the track properly. Now, I know what he means, because going through like the old hairpin, the game penalises you very, very horribly for what everyone would consider a normal touring car line through it. So, it'll be good to see, and he'll hopefully he's hoping for 1 win at Donington. Teal was on his return. to the championship. He felt round 1 went not well. A few mistakes dropped him towards the back of the field for race 1. However, he did say he did pick up for race 2. Able to make places up in the early laps and then get the jump in the pits to lead the race for a few laps, which was quite good for him. Then made a mistake up the hill, which dropped him down to 4th, and then spun on the last lap to hand 4th to Jamie FL30. So very unlucky there. Incidents problems for him is he crashed lap 2 on race 1, crashed lap 20 race 2, and crashed lap 22 race 2. So remembers it all very well. Rated it a 4, so I think not ideal for a start for him, but points nonetheless. And start, he doesn't. Donington's not a favourite for him. He struggled in season 10 at the foggy chicane, so he's hoping practice will help him master the corner. That he's had strong performances in the past at. He's hoping for he's expecting a top 5 for both races. That's his aim. It'd be good if he gets a top 5, but I can bring him back. Shock Shaft, a good race meeting for him, it's fair to say. He felt round 1 went quite well for him for his first attempt at Ginetta's. Very interesting that it is his first attempt, so he's had a good, really, actually he had a fairly good meeting, really. A 10th and a 6th. Any instances for him? He had a head-on collision with Spuncar exiting turn 4. Probably cost him a few seconds, but other than that, nothing to report. So good, clean racing. Again, another rating of 7. Seat 10 being the best. He does like Donington. Great track. He's looking forward to it, and his expectations. This is his exact wording. With the strong competition at NGR, I'm always happy to get in that top 10. He's happy with the top 10. That's brilliant, because he got 2 top 10s in round 1, so good start for him. Jeff Lepp, 69, obviously wasn't there for round 1, but he has done the questionnaire, which is brilliant. Thank you for doing it. So you can't answer round 1. Can't answer anything. But going on to, he very much likes Donington, and his expectations for it. He just wants to be consistent. If he's on the pace, that would be a bonus for him. He's not done much wet driving, so we'll see. He says, good to see him up there. And finally, the other half of Sneckachuka Motorsport. RDF1 Adam Morris. He felt round 1 went very well, enjoying the racing again so far. Love the closeness of the car. Exactly, the Ginettas are some of the closest racing you'll see for a series. It's fantastic to watch. Though he had no incidents, no problems, so really clean. He rated it a 9, so that is brilliant for Ginettas. Round 2 at Donington. He's not the biggest fan of the GP layout. He does prefer the National, but again, only 2 hairpins difference. So you can say he's gonna like it, but not as much as if they were doing the Ginettas. And he's expecting to get a win from Donington. So a bit of driver review there. But that's it for the notebook tonight. I do thank you for listening into it. Obviously, do join us for tomorrow for round 2 at Donington Park GP. But from myself and all the guys at NXTGEN, thank you all for listening into this Ginetta GT5 Junior Notebook, sponsored by Emily Lynn Scott this series, so big thanks to her. And we'll hopefully catch you either tomorrow night or on the next notebook. For me, thank you for listening. Goodbye.